Welcome everybody to the council meeting of Wednesday the 22nd of April 2021. We acknowledge the traditional custodians of this land and pay respect to their elders and the elders from other communities who may be here today. We also acknowledge all other people who have contributed to the rich diversity of this country. Councillors, would you please be outstanding statement of commitment? I declare
as a councillor of Ballarat City Council, I will undertake on every occasion to carry out my duties for the best interest of the community, and that my conduct shall maintain the standards of our council code of conduct, so that I may faithfully represent and uphold trust placed in council by the people of Ballarat District.
Thank you. I'll remind you that the meetings are recorded and live streamed. Your behaviour will be exemplary, as it always is. And if anyone has a disclosure of a conflict of interest, it needs to be disclosed at this stage of the meeting. Is there any conflict? No. Do you have any apologies?
It's Councillor King.
Someone move that Councillor Davis, Councillor Hearn, all those in favour? Carried. Question time? No questions?
Nope.
Petitions?
Nil.
Reports by officers?
Nil for 7.1.
7.1. 7.2, submissions of the proposed budget for 21-22. Kathy Fitzpatrick.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm happy to present the report for the proposed budget, which will go out on public display tomorrow if you choose to adopt it. I have provided some additional sheets from our workshop 5 and our last discussions. We've undertaken another review of the salary costs and also dealt with some changes in our cash flow because of the intangible assets which are impacted by the landfill cells recognition of when they are built. You take up the value of the airspace when you build the hole. When you fill up the cell, you amortise the value of the cost to rehabilitate it as well as the cost to dig it. And so you'll see that on our new comprehensive income statement that I have a different figure in the amortisation for intangible assets, and I have also impacted the provisions in the balance sheet. Why do we do that? Because we're trying to get a handle on the waste costs and the provisions projected for the next 4 years. So we've done a bit of delving and decided that it was best to reissue those pages so that it was a more realistic figure. The impact is that we actually come up with a better result in the budget. We come up with about 300 or so. We've gone from 2.7 or 2.3 to 2.7 surplus, so that's a better result. The flow on when you have a better result is that you have more cash, you have a higher asset balance, and it flows through the years. So the little tweak means that every figure across the cash flow is impacted. The good news that with the intangible assets being recognised as a non-cash item, our cash position is in a better position at the end of the 4 years. So on the additional pages on page 22, we go to about a $12 million balance projected at the end of 24-25 for cash. Why do we bother doing this? Because we're all focused on cash and we wanted to see the realistic figures that we could project based on what we expect to happen. I'd like to say that it's a challenging budget. It's been a challenge trying to predict the impact of COVID and the potential for increased revenue in the future years based on an improvement in the COVID situation, but we've done the best we can. We've also been trying to predict the impact on materials and services and the impact on insurance, which is a big cost for us as well. So I'm happy to present this to you and I'm happy to take any questions. I will just add one more item, that the ratios, because of the change in the dollar for the profit, slightly changed 1 or 2% on page 50, which is the financial performance indicators. Whenever you change just slightly, it just tweaks them a little bit. So if you'd like to have a review of those, overall, I'm happy to take any questions.
Are there any questions of Kathy? Bruno?
Thank you. Through the chair, Kathy, you explained the employee costs very well. And it's good to see that it's coming down from 22, 23 onwards. I just wanted to ask, in 21, 22, are there any FTE increased in this budget?
So as a result of the Working for Victoria grant, which we have received in the later part of this year, our numbers have increased by about 21 people, and that is predicted to flow through to next year, but only for part of 3 to 4 months of next year. Also in 21, 22, we are undertaking to do the finalisation of the home and community care program of not taking up the Commonwealth offer to extend the program. So we will be doing redundancies of staff in that year for the discontinuance of the home and community care service. We're still keeping the assessment people on at the moment as part of the review of that whole sector. And so that's the reason that when you go to the 22, 23, there's a reduction in the employee costs. We also have to pay out redundancy costs in 21, 22 to those staff that have been working in that area. And that's a cost that we've taken into account for the employee costs, which is why they are higher than the current year's forecast expenditure, and then they will drop in the future years.
Thank you.
Are you happy with that?
Yes, thank you, Chair.
Any other questions of Kathy? If not, the recommendation is on page 11.
Mr. Chair, just quickly, just for that number 1 on the recommendation, we'll just have to add the word "as amended" following budget, just because of the information that's been provided tonight. So I'll read that the proposed 2021-22 budget as amended be endorsed. Thank you.
Would someone like to move that? Councillor Firth and Councillor Davis. Like to speak, Councillor Firth?
Other than, I think I said it all last week or so forth, but I'm still very happy with this budget. The main thing is that it shows a plan. It shows a plan for the future, and I think the staff's done a wonderful job putting this together, and I can only hope that the figures can be amended even better than the end of 21-22. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Councillor Firth, Councillor Davis?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Yes, I'd like to follow through from the councillor and Councillor Firth. Congratulations, Kathy, and the staff for putting this budget together, and the CEO. To me, it's a pretty well balanced budget this year, and I have no concerns about the way we're going. Getting back to basics, we're looking at landfill, we're looking at roads, we're looking at infrastructure, looking at all those costs. So in moving this budget, I'm quite happy with it. What concerns me though is the next 1, 2, 3 budgets we have after this budget, because everybody knows at the moment housing's gone up, materials, I look at materials and services there, and I think how can you actually budget for it, because materials and steel's gone up 3 times in 3 months. All costs are going up. We're going to see inflation go up. We're going to see wages definitely go up, and unfortunately, we're probably going to see bank fees go up as well, and interest rates go up. And it's going to be part of the cycle. So, congratulations for this year. Please don't abandon the ship. Please be here for the next 2 or 3 budgets, because I'm sure you'll see us well done. You'll keep us on the right track. But a very hard task for this year, and I'm not saying it's impossible next year, but it's going to take a lot of work to stay on track. And I hope our ratepayers realise that we're not trying to get extra rates for us to make money and spend it as we see fit. We're only spending it on the basics of what we have to supply for our ratepayers. Thank you.
Thank Thank you, councillor Davis. Would anyone else like to speak?
No, thank you.
Councillor O'Brien?
Yes, thank you, through the chair. Kathy, I just wanted to add that I think this is a very necessary and well-considered budget, and one that will hopefully guide Benalla Rural City towards an improved budget position in the coming years. So thanks very much for your hard work.
Thank you, councillor O'Brien. Ben Ratner, do you want to speak?
No, thank you.
No one else wants to speak. All those in favour? That's carried. Thank you. Item number 8, reports by councillors. Do we have any councillors who would like to give a report?
No.
Notice of motion. Yeah, well, I can give you a report on the launch that happened today with
Charlie?
Mr. Yana Pulford, who was in town to announce $120,000 towards the Buy from Northeast, which is it's carrying on from Buy from Benalla, which was the first step. Benalla instigated that program, and a year further on, we've got another $120,000 to take that program to 8 other country towns. And I think it's fantastic to think that Benalla has been chosen as the lead to show the way in this initiative, and hopefully businesses will take the initiative up and drag themselves out of the dark ages and into the computer age, which is an excellent opportunity for everyone. No notice of the motion. Oh, sorry. Yes. Someone like to move the report be noted. Councillor Davis. Councillor Firth. All those in favour? Thank you. Notice of the motion.
Bill.
Rescission motion.
Bill.
Urgent business.
Bill.
Declare the meeting closed at